Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever you're watching this video. I appreciate the support, cuzzies. My name is Joe Josh. I go by iChart Daily. Today is Wednesday, July 3rd. My alerts are going off, so I wanted to give you a market update. So, first things first, this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. I've been doing technical analysis for 17 years now. I have been invested in crypto for hypothetically almost 10 years now. And just to give you a little background, my father was an options trader for literally almost 30 years. He originally taught me this process, and I have transformed it into what you see today. So what I'm trying to do in these videos is give you a window to my thought process, explain why I'm thinking certain things, and hopefully teach you a little bit along the way. So in my last video, shout out to you guys for supporting it, I said there are a couple things that I didn't like that potentially could be playing out literally the first, second week of July, right? And the reason why I say that is long-term trends will always predict what short-term time frames are doing. So what I look at is let's delete everything. I always look at a longer time frame first. I analyze the chart. I want to see if the sentiment is bullish or bearish, and then I always zoom in, right? Because if it's bearish and certain check boxes are going off on longer time frames, meaning weekly, 2-week, 3-week, and monthly, it does not matter if your shorter time frames, like your 2-minute, your 7-minute, your 1 hour, and your 4 hour, are showing bullish signs. The true definition is called being pinned. When the longer time frames are bearish, the shorter time frames are bullish, you bet bullish, and it actually turns the opposite way. Same thing if the longer time frames are bullish, meaning golden crosses, volume coming up, breaking of the moving average, making higher lows, higher highs. That is what I mean by bullish sentiment. As of right now, on the monthly, this is clear as day, you can clearly see volume is coming down. Volume is not dark blue anymore, making higher highs. Volume switched from dark blue to light blue and is coming down. Two moving averages, right? I explained this in the last video. Shorter time moving average color is yellow. Green is the longer time moving average when you have the confluence of the volume going up, when you have the confluence of a golden cross and going up. That is bullish for the long term. As of right now, it looks like the monthly is forming a top. The most important thing with looking at a MACD is trend lines go with trend indicator. The trend indicator is the MACD. And as you could see, on longer time frames, once again, weekly to the monthly, once you see the bearish sentiment happen, a death cross and a break of the RSI making higher lows, higher highs, breaking the moving average, breaking into the next section, right? Section A plus to A. We broke from A plus to A. We broke the moving average. This looks like it's breaking. Trend lines aren't going up anymore, okay? Trend lines were going up. Now trend lines are coming down, or actually going flat, meaning the trend was doing this for the past couple of weeks. It was forming that double top, like I said. Once trend lines break down in the longer time frames, I have to get rid of my sideways pattern and start making downward trend lines, right? Very simple. You could see trend going up here, right? Trend going up, trend lines going up. Trend forms double top on the oscillators in the longer time frame. Trend goes flat, right? So we went up, trend goes flat, trend comes down, okay? Trend goes up, trend goes flat, trend comes down. The most important thing is where is the next low? Here is technically the last macro low, 15,000 to 20,000, I'm comfortable saying. So as of right now, when you look at the chart, right, like I said in my last post, all we're looking to do is grab some more of this asset when it's extremely oversold. And if you remember 17.5, 15.5, 13.5, give me a like, give me a comment, right? Give me a hallelujah. So we're here, right? So now all I'm looking to do is line up my trades. Number one, with shorts, right? When the bearish sentiment, when the long-term trends are bearish, I am leaning more towards shorts, or once again, not financial advice, accumulation mode. When the long-term trend remains flat and looks like it's going to turn bullish, my mind switches to where it take profit levels, right? And I'm opening up longs on certain coins or stocks, whatever the case may be. So as of right now, my brain is switching to thin ice mode, waiting for major support to break, and I'm going to try and figure out how much room do we have to bleed until next major support levels, and then how I can confluence that up with a MACD and RSI and other moving averages to make sure that I'm choosing 2-3 major levels. So if you remember 2-3 years ago, I mentioned this beautiful 2-week white line, right? We had support, 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 support. Change it because for literally 3 years I called it the beautiful white line on the 2-week chart. And the reason why I say that is you could see 1, we went up, we came down. 2, we went up, we came down. 3, we went up, we came down. 4. Regardless of the news, regardless of how you feel, that white line holds more value than your opinion. So as of right now, what I'm looking to do is figure out how low can Bitcoin fall if poo-poo hits the fan and we break 57,000. Okay? Give me 1 second. Okay, so here's one confluence. Okay, the next one that I see are these 2 major levels here of 36,000 to potentially 30,000. Now I want to mention something. Would that still remain bullish on a macro level if Bitcoin fell all the way to 41,000 to potentially 36,000? Yes, because when you look at this chart, we went from 1,700 to 18,000 down to about 32 to 3,500 to 14,000 down to 5,000 to 4,100 to 69,000 down to about 15 to about 17,000 up to about 75,000 down to about 37 to 29,000. So yes, it still remains making a higher low, which shows me that this potentially could be forming a ascending triangle where the highs remain the same at that 65 to 70,000 level. This would technically be called like a fake out, a double top fake out of your major resistance, right? Because here's resistance. Previous resistance was 58 to 68,000, right? We broke out, we made the higher high, but unfortunately, if we fall back into the 57 to the 50, we could use what was previous support as support again, right? So here are 2 levels, right about here. So I could see major support at 36 to 40, but there could be a wick to the 30, right? And I'm lining it up with this level right here. Okay, the same way there was major support at 5,000, but there was wicks to 44 to 30 something hundred, right? So first level, sorry, phone's blowing up because poo-poo's hitting the fan, so people are freaking out. So let's start lining up some other stuff. Weekly, during the bull market, during continuations, we used it 11, which is the yellow, 21 purple, 31 orange as support. Once again, that is the last line in the sand. You can see this wick here at 56,799. Let's just call it 56.8. That's the last line in the sand. Bitcoin needs to find support there in order for this to not be a double top breakdown and have massive blood to the 45 to the 35,000. Does it look great? No. It's showing me that this has a higher probability of breaking to the downside, right? Because long-term trends predict short-term outcomes. If you're seeing bearish divergence, meaning MACD death crosses on the 3-week and the monthly, we stopped making higher lows and higher highs. We stopped being above the moving average. We went from section A plus to section A. We broke the 70, broke the moving average right here. That's the bearish trend reversal right there. So if we're seeing that on the 3-week, we're seeing lower highs on the monthly, and once again, volume coming down. I don't think the weekly bounces. I really don't. Another reason why, when you zoom into like the 5-day, the 4-day, and the 3-day, we're in section B. We're getting rejected by the 50, and there's room to bleed until we're extremely oversold. Once again, regardless of the ticker, if you look at the longer time frames and you see the MACD approaching below the 0 line, right? This, below, below, above, right? When the histogram goes positive or negative, or when you see the RSI in section B and no longer in section A, you have massive blood, massive blood. You can see here we fell below the moving averages almost 11%, right? So that's why I'm going to be using the longer time moving averages. So 54,000 to 50,000 is major support on the longer time frames as of now. I want to get rid of this. Right, here we are. So here's the daily. Unfortunately, like I said, we're in section B. We did not golden cross. We got rejected by the moving average, and that's why we came down, came up, had the dead cat bounce, but unfortunately did not make a higher high to the most recent high of 64.5. We came all the way back up and saw selling pressure right at the 63.9, and now we're here. One more thing I wanted to show you, excuse me, is I have my alert here notifying me on the RSI right there. You can see we're approaching it at the 51.68. I'll probably set another one right below at the 48.40 because I want to see if we're going to have massive buying pressure at 57,000 and we come back up and we have a dead cat bounce, you know, because there's room, right? We went from the 87 down to the 62, rejected by the 69.57. We came down. Are we going to be extremely oversold at 56, 57,000, have another dead cat bounce, perform a lower high to the 69? Maybe we come back up to this level here of the 60, form another lower high, and then eventually, because we're making lower highs and lower lows, we could eventually break this, come back into section B, showing us that we are breaking this 57,000. That's the video. Once again, I have an alert here, 58.9. I will lower my long alert to 62.6. I'm curious if we have a dead cat bounce and break the 62.6. But besides that, once again, the time frame that hold the most value is the 2-day, the 3-day, the 4-day, to show you that we're forming somewhat of a short-term bottom to at least come back to this level here, right? You could see, excuse me, right? We're making these lower highs and the same lows every single time. This is what I mean by breaking structure, having a fake out, coming back into the trend, and then using what was resistance as resistance. It's the same thing. If this was to break out here, but then come back into the trend, high probability coming back and using support as support, but we didn't. So once again, we could form a bottom here, come back up, form nothing higher than 70 to 72,000. This forms like a nice descending triangle where the lows stay exactly the same from 59 to 60,000. You're making lower highs and lower lows each time. I'm curious if this apex moment lines up with, yeah, okay, the elections. The measured move would be from here to here. You would take it, if we ever were to break the 57 to 60,000, it would take us down to this level here of, like I said, 50 to 53,000. I said that in the previous video. This double top also would, this would be the neckline, bringing you back down to this level as well. So we have to see, right? We're getting the bearish divergence on the longer time frames, which shows me on a 3-day, yes, you can have dead cat bounces, right? This is a dead cat bounce, this is a dead cat bounce. But as long as you continue making lower highs, right? This one was 73.8, this one was 72.6, this one was 71.6. We could come all the way back up and form one at 69.3, and that is actually a bearish top forming, like a Bart Simpson head, they call it. And once again, your first line of major support is going to be 52 to 50. And then if that was to break, we would come back up, use the 59 or 60,000 as resistance, form a lower high, and then have potentially one more leg down to the 45 to the 41,000. This level over here, lining up with that beautiful white line, and then getting ready for January 2025. Enjoy the day. Love you guys. Appreciate the support. As of right now, the most important alert that's going to notify you if we're breaking down or not is the weekly RSI staying above 50 to potentially 47. That's the video. Love you guys. Any comments, questions, concerns, leave it in the comment section. I appreciate the support. I really do. Discord links in the description. That's free. And besides that, I might do one more video later on XRP. Appreciate the support. Enjoy.